Slow wine from the ground. Take your time on the ground. You tell me, how you got me feeling like I do. Around your 50, I'm in love with you. Never thought I'd
What's up, boys?
What's up, boys? What's up, boys?
Oh, couple of those. How's it going, brothers?
Sick use. Sick. Keen for the shows, keen for this podcast.
Yeah, just
Oh,
what's going on, Fanga? Welcome to the show. This is your debut too, bro. First time.
been in ages, dude.
Good to have you, also. Good to have you.
Yeah, good to have you guys on. Welcome to everyone joining the podcast. This is For The Boys podcast. This is based, basically talk about mental health. We try and help out people that have gone through whatever situation, good or bad. But we'll try our best to help whoever that's tuned in with us with whatever questions you guys have. And to the chat, if you have any questions that you want to throw to our guest, yeah, by all means, jump on board and
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Can someone tell that guy to sort out the hair?
Never loved the shower, the hair.
Did he touch the overhead wires at work or what?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I just woke up like 15 minutes ago.
Love the commitment, also. Love the commitment.
Good on you, mate. Good on you. But don't. This is your strike too. The first time you came with no shirts,
No sleeves. He forgot the sleeves.
and then the second.
Hey, take it easy. Hey, take it easy.
Good to have you.
Good to have you, brother. So our guest doesn't need any introduction, but he's well known around the world. Yeah, Swiss will bring the brother on.
There you go.
Hey!
Oh,
Hey.
What's up, family?
Malo Doko.
Sorry, just finishing up my dinner, man.
Hey, what was for dinner?
Little bit of this, little bit of that.
Vegetarian, eh? Vegetarian food.
I'm on the 6-week challenge, man. So played up a few times. I had to eat nice tonight.
Nice.
Nah, thanks for having me on,
Welcome on the show, brother. I appreciate you jumping in, tapping in with us. Hopefully, throughout this hour, you can give us some good advice. But before we get your story, just give us an introduction about yourself, bro. Where it all started for you, and yeah.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Most name is Swiss. My actual name is, my family name is Pepa Manu. I was born in Wellington, raised in Upper for a couple of years and moved to Australia. Did all my high schooling years over there after intermediate here. yeah, been doing the music thing for a little bit of while now. Been really blessed to do it, and yeah, moved back to New Zealand in 2012 to chase my career professionally. So, other than that, I've been able to tick off quite a few things on my bucket list of things to do as an artist, and yeah, man, living life to the fullest, I guess, taking it day by day, and yeah, that's pretty much me.
Maro.
Very nice.
Nice. So you're living in Australia for a bit. You did your schooling there, or did you?
Yeah, so I did all my high school years in Oz. Yeah, like I said, just after I finished intermediate, we moved over to Oz. My older brother actually, for those that don't know, he actually played professional rugby league. He's now retired now, but that's the reason why we moved over there. At the time, the Melbourne Storm's feeder club was in Brisbane, so we moved to Brisbane, and yeah, that was the whole reason why we went over there. And yeah, found my way back to do the whole music thing. Yeah, bro.
Oh yeah, was it the music
Yeah.
thing, or were you chasing love? You
Hey,
missed
hey,
news.
hey. Both.
Both.
No, you're right. I ended up meeting my wife there and things like that. I got married in 2015. But yeah, that's my story. Got 2 kids now, and yeah, bro.
Oh, true.
Very very
Nice.
fast.
And your wife, she's well known in the music industry as well. Who's the best at the old karaoke machine?
Oh, she is, bro. Definitely, man. I always say to everyone, it's quite hard, being married to a singer, especially of her caliber. You know what I mean? Even when I'm recording, bro, I have to have her out of the room, just sort of on my toes a bit.
Oh, nice, bro. Nice. Because we built this around men's mental health. Not saying that we don't focus on the female side of things. Just I think today we've had a whole bunch of follows maybe that are interested in the mental health side or awareness side of things.
Yeah.
But because you're married now, what's the secret to marriage, brother? And how to keep a healthy relationship? Is it the old?
It's not the Jake Hick Gales.
Nah, definitely not. If anything, I'm the best. In the relationship, and but yeah, I think it's pretty straightforward, man. It's a 50-50 thing. Some people, some people see it in different ways, but I think it's totally up to you and your partner and what you guys come down to in terms of understanding each other and things like that. So, yeah, but marriage life's been good. Like any other marriage, bro, it's not a perfect marriage, but I guess that's what makes it perfect, eh?
Who's when you got picked up?
Play there, right, boys? Hey,
I'm writing it down, man. Did you get picked up in Oz? Or did you get? Did you get picked up in Oz?
Yeah. So I actually started. So if we go into the story a little bit deeper, I was doing music since I was about 14. Had some cousins who were rapping, recording from home, and they sort of taught me the ins and out of recording myself. So I started writing all my stuff when I was about 14 for a good 5 years or so, and then eventually we released Slow Wine, and that was the song that took off for me, man. I was able to tour the US, tour Australia, and then came here to New Zealand and eventually signed on with Dawn Raid, man. So, yeah, bro.
How was that experience, Oos? Being a 20-year-old, getting picked up in the music industry?
Man, I think for me it was massive. I didn't really expect to be sort of doing it professionally. Like, not that I didn't want to, but I mean, like, what were the chances of someone doing it like that back then? I guess I was sort of one of the first generation of kids to sort of be doing the whole YouTube thing. And this was back in like the early 2000s, eh? You know what I mean? I think YouTube still had the grey thing, and the red thing was like, took about 2 hours to load back then. But yeah, yeah. I think if anything, like anyone before that time, it was like it was more luck, if anything, to be spotted by anyone and be able to sort of make a career professionally out of it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was really blessed that Slow One sort of took off online. The Americans had taken it on, and then yeah, and everyone else sort of followed through. But at the end of the day, I think it was our poly people. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for them sharing all my stuff, I don't think I would have even been able to do it, man. So it was the love from all the different places in the world, but our poly people were the ones sharing it.
Nice.
Definitely.
Did
How
you
was
ever
the
Some of the inspirations was were some of your inspirations when you're like starting up?
Man, I think it was a lot of R&B stuff, bro. I grew up on thankfully I had older brothers who were sort of playing their jams, and it was like Boys to Men, Casey and JoJo.
Yeah.
The late
Oh,
night.
yeah, I think if anything, I would say Jodeci, but I think I was too young for Jodeci, man. Blackstreet, of course, and then
Mm-hmm.
Never
Backstreet Boys, of course, So, yeah, but it was a lot of R&B
Oh, that's
stuff.
Terry's favorite.
I think the reggae stuff. I think the reggae stuff sort of came in as I got a little bit older, and yeah, the drinking jams,
nice? We got one question before we keep following on with ours. A shout out to the chat that's jumped on. So, do you think men's mental health is a problem in New Zealand? This is open to the whole group. So, jump in when you feel like it.
Man, I honestly think it's not only in New Zealand. I think it's everywhere. It's bad in New Zealand. I don't know if how bad it is overseas, but I definitely think it's a problem in New Zealand. Yes, Jane, I do think it is. My own opinion. We could go on all night too about it too. But yeah, I definitely think it is a problem in New Zealand, especially our poly people.
What's the
We
parties?
have,
Yeah, bro.
We have different standards of living, growing up, and expectations and all that.
for sure.
It's always a little bit more difficult than I'd say it's a little bit more difficult than normal for us than it is for everyone else. So yeah, I definitely think.
Yeah, going off going off what Mafioso was saying, I think it's definitely a problem, and I think as islanders, man, like we're so it's almost normalized to shut a lot of things up, You know what I mean?
Exactly, bro. Yep.
And I think that's one thing that generally kills us. I think we all face the normal pressures that everyone else faces. But I mean, we've got a real strong sort of thing in our culture where we have to hold it down regardless. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's like you see all the ads and they're saying it's not weak to cry and let your emotions out, And I think it's something that definitely needs to be pushed. You know what I mean? For our men to realize that it's actually all good. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. It's okay not to be okay. When we started this, the boys that we try to get to jump on, I think they were a bit too shy of the live feed. So, but in the background, they had a bit more to say, even though we created this as a a safe platform. I think trying to let it go, like you just said, like let it out, is the hardest for them. So we're trying to change it up as we go too. We're trying to record things, trying to get the boys to open up. But in saying that, it's not only if you're in a relationship, there's always two sides to the story, and sometimes a relationship is toxic, and some people go through that situation where they can't talk to anyone because their relationship has gone for that long, and they've kind of drowned themselves out of their friends, whatever, and moved away from that, and then all they have is just them. But I reckon, for myself, it's always good to have obviously a healthy relationship with your partner, but also have a healthy relationship with your friends. Joining your friends and making sure that you're hanging out with them or spending time with them as well, not just just closing their bubble, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, going off the back of that, man. I think you're definitely right. I think one of the things that I've realized a lot is like, being a youngin and like playing stuff like rugby, and that you do get that time where you really get to focus on something that's totally different from anything else in your life, and you get to put in this energy into something. You know what I mean? And I think you're definitely right in that sense where we should be sort of taking that time out of our normal lives to be socializing and things like that. Not necessarily saying go to the nightclubs because you might get yourself in trouble, but you know what I mean? But I think you're definitely right in that sense. We should be doing things like that a little bit more. You just need to, I know it's they use it for women, but you got to let your hair out a bit, even if you don't have much.
We're all on the same boat. That's why I'm wearing a beanie.
Hey, welcome Baker. Welcome Baker and Juan. Thanks for jumping on, boys.
So for joining in.
How are we all doing?
Sure, boys. All good. No, I'm listening in, man. Just doing a little workout.
Thanks for the invite. If you can hear me.
Sharp boys.
Kia ora, brother. Kia ora. We've got one more question. Sorry, we'll see. And see if the brothers that just joined us can answer this one. Juan and Baker. Question on the screen for you.
Go
easy.
I'll let you tackle that one first, bro. Mate.
First of all, I don't even know what that means. First of all, I'm just reading it. I can't even read it. Second of all, that's why I passed it over to you guys.
Someone simplify the question.
I think someone was promoting like a muscle supplement or something.
Toxic masculinity, bro. That's some pretty big words there. Shucks. Is it a dance move or something? Could be.
To salad.
Sounds like a salad, bro. Yeah.
If you could simplify that to everything or anything we can understand, and we'll get back to you. But back to the questions for
the simple questions.
Any school certificates questions?
No.
Yeah, man. On my third year.
I'm still trying to spell the second word, mess.
Only the 21-year-old sports.
Helping the teachers, bro. Helping the teachers.
Oh, okay. Swiss, bro. How did you handle the fame, bro? Because you shot off, like you said, real fast, and you hit the stars pretty fast.
Yeah, man. They hit me pretty hard too.
Easy.
Yeah, I think if anything, I don't know how many people know, but it was actually one of the things that I wanted to touch on tonight. I think that was actually a pretty difficult time for me in terms of mental health. You know what I mean? I think if anything, like I said, I started doing my stuff on YouTube and whatnot. And then when it sort of took off, I came to New Zealand and it was all just a massive rush. I think at first you're like real hyped, and then after a little while you sort of start to question what you got yourself into. I think one of the hardest things for me was, I guess in a way, just sort of trying to fit into the stereotypes of what an artist was known as at the time. You know what I mean? I think one of the biggest things for people back then, like artists were too cool to hang around with the average Joe or things like that, and it was a stereotype that I was trying to break at the time, but it was it was kind of hard to separate the two. And I guess it also became difficult when I was just trying to do normal things like hang out with my missus, man. Like we ended up having to go hang out at like random parks because the malls weren't, you know what I mean? And then hey, not at the parks in that way, boys.
Again, those late night runs. The Jodeci.
Maybe
There's nothing wrong with the dog parks, bro.
Yes, I ended up taking off from the scene in 2014, man. I breached my contract with Dawn Raid and just took off back to Australia. I had enough of it, eh? I think if anything, it was just it got a little bit too much for me at the time. I didn't know how to deal with a lot of it. I think I was just a snotty-nosed kid, really, doing music and loving it. And then when the fame sort of hit, you know, you have all the fancy stuff and then you have all the ugly stuff that comes with it too, and it all eventually drains you out, man. And I think I kind of overworked myself in the first 2 years, man. And then, I just gapped it back to Australia for a good year. Then found myself back here in 2015. And just, slowly found my way back into it.
Nice, bro. With all the songs that you come up with, is it just off the cuff, or do you sit down and think about writing out the lyrics, or is it just happens natural for you?
Yeah, a bit of both, man. A bit of both. Like some days you can write songs within an hour, and some days sometimes you could take up to a full week to complete a song. So yeah, it's different every time, man. I guess it's all about how you're feeling and what mood you're in, eh?
Walter, you had a question, eh, Walter? Before we cut you out.
Oh yeah, no, that's all good. Don't do it again, eh? I just wanted to. Swiss, did you ever copy any flack for not following your brother's footsteps?
Nah, not really. I think if anything, I was playing footy, of course, when I was younger. I think if anything, I wanted to sort of move out from anything like that. You know what I mean? I think, in a sense, when you're playing rugby, man, and you especially when your older brother's already playing NRL, they see your last name and they're like, "Oh, there's Thing's little brother," and they expect you to be just as good, and you drop the ball on the first run, and they're like, "Oh, that's not."
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like in a sense, bro, as much as I love footy, man, I truly don't believe that was where I was meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I followed my heart in terms of the music thing, and still 100% happy with that decision, man.
Nice,
bro.
Yeah. Is that how you felt, Maya?
What was that?
For those who don't know, Maya was a up and coming. It was close to making the All Blacks.
Running in the water, bro.
Richie development for Highlanders or
fastest running in the water.
Well, back to the chat, guys. Back to the chat. Why do you think it's hard for boys or men to talk about mental health?
Shout out to the chat.
Yeah, bro.
You do not want to be labeled as a pussy. That's what it is. You do not want to be like, you're a fag, you're this, you're that. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
You want to be tough. You want, men are all about showing that tough exterior. We're the enforcers, we're the protectors of our families. I think for me, it's that. You don't want to be that soft guy. The secret is girls love the soft guy, guys. Like that's the secret.
As a secret is when you have a partner, or
next question.
But make sure downstairs is not soft, man.
Oh no! Can someone turn this square off, please?
Oh, sorry. Is this PG-13?
I think you're on your 10th warning anyway. You don't listen to us. For that question, Baker, did you want to jump in on that one?
Bro, that's exactly what it is, though. Mentality, bro. You know what I mean? If you're lucky enough to have had a father figure growing up, you know, like, what did your dad do? Did your dad talk about that soft stuff? Probably not, bro. These are dads from the 70s. These are dads from the 60s. Those were hard. You had to be a hard man. You know what I'm saying?
When men were men.
Yeah. Precisely, bro. Precisely. And I think in the 80s and 90s may have that sort of tapered off. And certainly after 2000 or you know, in the last 20 years, there's been a big change in how we need to address everything like that. You know what I mean? Like there's more avenues available to talk out, such as this. You know, this is why I love this idea, bro. I honestly don't know why it hasn't been around any, you know, longer than it took this long to, you know, have something like this for all the boys. And I mean, I'm talking all the boys, you know, just to connect one way or another, and put those emotions out, get it off your chest, get things off your chest, you know, because we carry a lot of burdens, and it's certainly not easy opening up, you know, to your mates, let alone total strangers, you know, going to counselling and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you reckon you know, we don't want to pay for like a psychologist or something? Does that fit in somewhere? Or you just don't want to talk to a random person when you know he's not going to help you out, or he's just going to... Well, I don't know. I've never been to a psychologist anyway, so... for me, that's exactly how you placed it, Baker. My dad, you know, back in the days... And it's funny because I've brought up my dad in so many episodes about how, you know, he brought us up. He wasn't the type to, you know, show love. And that's how, you know, you try and do the same thing. You're trying to carry on what you thought was a man back then. You try to bring it in this, like, you know, through this generation. But because you start to hide stuff, it eats away at you. And you know, the best thing for you obviously is to open up. That's what we're trying to do now.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I can't speak for your dad, T. But when you're saying he didn't show love, even fathers that beat their children, it's a form of love. As stupid as that sounds, that was the love that he was shown by his father, and that was the love that was shown by his father. You know what I mean? So there's love there. I don't think it's a question of money. Like when it comes to psychologists and things, there's so many like free, you know, resources and things available. It's more what Baker was touching on. It's the pride thing. It's the you know, we bottle it up. We, like you said, we rarely do we talk to our friends, let alone a stranger. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think it's a money issue when it comes to the psychologist.
Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think it's also like, you know, like one perfect example is like, you know, when you get really wasted and you end up pouring out your heart to someone, and then you don't want to see that person for the next 2 weeks because you don't know what he's thinking. You know what I mean? or who he's told, Bro, that's it. And then you just cut yourself off from that circle completely. But I think that's exactly it. And then you know, sometimes you leave it too late. You know, say for example, like that, you know, sometimes you do go get wasted and you end up pouring it out to the wrong people and things like that. But I think it's good to find, you know, people that you can really trust. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I guess the whole psychologist thing, I guess that sort of works out really good. It's because it's someone you actually don't know and have any links to, so it's a bit easier to, you know, flip things off because you know you're not going to bump into that person, you know, randomly in the shopping centre or at your family lunches on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Man, the chat's going off.
We'll drop a question from the chat.
Yep.
Mari's. So Mari.
Oh. do this quick one, and then we'll jump onto Marty's one next. That's for you, Swiss.
Man, to be honest with you, man, I think that's one of the hardest things. You know what I mean? Is actually finding that quality time, especially when we're doing. We're actually discussing it today. Even working together, we sort of find ourselves talking about work most of the time. You know what I mean? But you know, I think you've just got to try and make the time. Really, you know what I mean? You know, just chilling in the same room together is not the time. She always nags, or not nags. Sorry, that's the wrong word. She always sort of.
We'll mute that one. That's all good.
She always tries to push for us to be able to do more things together in terms of going out on dates and things like that. So I think that's definitely something I do need to look into. But it was a good question because we're actually talking about it today. Yeah, man, it's a real hard thing. But when we do find the time, we do make the most of it.
Oh, sorry. I have to mention it because we got a podcast as well. So that question was, how do you and your awesome wife both find time in your busy schedules for each other? So that's just for the podcast. So just so you know, guys.
Sweet.
Another question from the chat, which is good.
That was from Marty.
Ooh, Martin with the questions, eh?
Hey, what's the pinnacle of your music career? Can't imagine singing national anthem for Tonga. Where your brother was captain will be up there.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Marty.
I think, I think, one of the pinnacles would be that, man. I think being able to sing our the national anthem for our country while being alongside my brother is something that had never sort of ever been done before that, which was pretty special for me. But yeah, there's a lot of things. I guess, with like especially music, there's no things like that you can sort of put next to each other. I guess everything sort of sits in its own category. Eh? Like, you know what I mean? Say, like, for example, I got to do Ragamuffin back in 2013. That still sits up there as one of the things for me. Like, everything is pretty thing. So I can't really say there is a pinnacle, but there's definitely highlights. Eh? You know what I mean? And yeah, that Tongan anthem was definitely one of them, bro. I'll never get that chance again, man. So yeah, it was definitely up there.
Nice, bro. Swanky, you have another one for us? So basically, what do you do to keep your mental healthy, especially during these regular lockdowns? I'm surprised I can read this fast.
It's still buffering in my brain.
I think anybody can answer that one, eh?
Yeah, this is to everyone, man. Jump in.
Yeah.
Well, Tizzle?
I play PlayStation, so clears my mind. I get to be happy, do what I want. Nicer to people after that.
Yeah, well, in regards to that question, especially with all the lockdowns, I think most of us would be grateful that we still had work to help us keep sane. You know, we weren't always with our families throughout the whole lockdown, and when we did get home, like, it was refreshing to always see them. So for me personally, I think work was kind of my sanity in regards to the mental side of things. I think if I was to be stuck at home, I don't know. I'll definitely love spending the time with my family, my wife, and my kids. But sure. I think being locked down for so long, I think we would have scratched our heads figuring out what to do.
Scratch the eyes out also.
Now we were lucky, all right, because we had work to have that normality
Yeah.
feeling. Like we had the
Yeah.
9 to 5, get up, go to work, come back, half the day is gone. So we're quite lucky on that sense.
Hey Baker, because you had an injury and you're off for quite a bit. So how did you keep yourself healthy throughout that injury? Because you're off for a few months.
Yeah, to be fair, most of the time we were at level 1. So although I was sort of stuck at home, well, I wasn't going to work, but we were level 1, so you could still go out and do stuff, catch a game of footy, things that we took for granted, certainly when we were at level 4. And even just going and having a meal, leaving the house and having a meal, little things like that. So, I mean, when I was off, it wasn't too bad. But certainly when we were at level 4, it was good to be able to leave the house and get out and you've got a task, you've got a job. None of this had ever happened before, so it was all unprecedented. So everything was sort of a new experience, and seeing everything locked down and stuff like that. But yeah, connecting with the whānau when you get home, wife and kids, and that it's still the same when you come home from for example, right now it's school holidays. It's the same thing. I've still got to go to mahi, and the kids aren't going to school and stuff. They just come home and what'd you get up to today? You have all the big yarns, all the big, like the spiel of what dramas may have happened in the household during the day. But yeah, it was all I was just focusing on during lockdown anyway. Work and just reconnecting with the whānau, the old Zoom meetings and stuff like that, or FaceTiming mum and my family and stuff like that. So it was a weird time. It was a weird time to connect with everyone, but well, we made it through.
Very nice.
I was quite lucky, yeah. So in a sense that also we had work, but because the first lockdown, level 4, we got the kids out. We went for a walk every morning, and with work we had time off. So we never would have done that normally. Like get the kids up, feed them, and take them for a walk. It was good for us because obviously when you take the kids for a walk, let them play around, they're back to sleep again. So they're resting back at home, and you have a couple of hours to have a party. But the kids caught onto it because we kept doing it for maybe about two weeks, and after the second week, they managed to not sleep through the walk, came back, and then still destroyed the house.
Some of your Google sites get a hammering as well.
Oh no.
Machine.
Delete the history.
Talking about Googling for the parks and stuff.
There's a research
for all about.
You get that, bro. You work out that premium. You got that premium.
Google Premium, is it? Okay.
Google Premium. Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, that was pretty good, Pretty good. So we'll see what happens in 9 months' time. See if anybody had too much Google Premium.
Yeah. And see who was lying. Having meetings.
The internet bill went up for sure.
Oh. Got that data.
Hey, Swiss, we just got a question from the chat. From Lawrence Smith. What's the hardest thing about being a musician? Is it performing, maintaining your image for the public, or holding up a certain standard? Whatever it is, what impact has that had on your mental health?
Yeah, I think the performance, one thing I can say, the performance and like the recording side of things are the easiest part of being a musician. I think that's what we sort of jumped on it to do. But yeah, definitely, I think maintaining that sort of that sort of standard and sort of holding myself together for the public is a big thing. But then that also comes back to your mindset of, you know, whether you like I said, I left the industry back in 2014 because of that exact same reason. I couldn't live or try and be someone that I wasn't. You know what I mean? I think. But like I said, it all comes back down to your mindset of like, okay, so do I conform to what the industry wants me to be like, or do I just continue to be myself? And I think when I've sort of done that a bit more, you know, it's sort of helped me a lot better in terms mentally. You know what I mean? Just trying to be myself at the most. You know, of course, I can't swear in that online and social media as much because there's kids in that follow us. But I mean, like, I try and be as real as I can in terms of how I portray myself, both on social media and in real life.
So are you out there, Socks?
No, sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. Just trying to get some water now.
Did you get any pressure from, like, I don't want to drop the record label, but to change your image or to change what style?
Yeah, I don't think there was any pressure to sort of change. I think I think it was more so just me sort of not like. It comes back to that mentality of us being islanders and like sort of not knowing how to say no to certain things, and we end up stuffing ourselves up mentally because of that. You know what I mean? We're always, you know, we've been always taught as islanders to always please everyone and look after everyone in that sense. So I think a lot of it had to do with myself. You know what I mean? It was my mentality of being like, okay, I have to be this way for how this industry is, and I'm going to say yes to everything and anything that these guys sort of put my way. So, you know, we can sort of, I can sit here and try and say it, but I mean, I've totally opened up my mind and looked at it in different perspective now. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I think it was more me than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely wasn't that slide guy, bro.
Oh, it's about your merch. Yes, sir. Is that what inspired that name? Yes, sir. Is it one of your phrases that you normally drop in your songs, or?
Yeah. It's definitely it's one of my go-to phrases. I mean, in terms of, you know, even performing, it's like, how would you say it? My wife was asking me the other day. It's almost like my let's go. You know what I mean? Like that's what I sort of.
Yeah.
I sort of that's how I do myself up. Really, you know what I mean? It's but yeah, like it started all the way back in like 2013. And with COVID and everything that was going on, obviously we couldn't tour and things like that. And I sort of had to sort of sit back down on the planning table and try and figure out ways of sort of being able to, I think look at other avenues of sort of being able to look after myself and my family. And that was one of the ideas that popped up. I've been making t-shirts for ages, but, you know, I never sort of, I never looked into actually turning it into like an actual clothing line sort of thing. So, yeah. And now it started.
Man, it's good to see you. It's good to see.
And for those out there that have they want to get their hands on your merch, go over to your page. Yes, Clothing Co. Is that correct?
Yeah. Or you can just, we've finally set up our online store, man. So yesaclothingco.com. Took a little while, so yeah, but yeah, we're shipping worldwide now. We started off only doing Australia and New Zealand. So I wanted to be able to sort of send it everywhere, So yeah,
very nice, very nice.
There, man.
Well, you never showed any models, Zeus, if you're looking for a model for your shirts.
In saying that, I think in saying that, I'll see. I was talking to one of the boys online the other day, and I was saying, you know, I'll probably try and flick some t-shirts at you guys ways to give out next week. You know what I mean?
Too much.
If anything, it'll be cool.
Oh, thanks, Doc.
Or if you guys want to wear it, you know what I mean? It's totally up to you guys.
I'll give the admin address, which is my address. And then I'll have a look at it.
Easy.
Actually,
question,
how are you
Swiss-
for
uh,
the,
Swiss-
if I could just jump in there, bro, if I could just jump in there real quick, one little thing about merchandise, bro. There's nothing more frustrating than going to buy something online and having the sizes only go up to 2XL. Do you,
Oh, say
please, bro,
less.
do you
Hey,
do you
did
have
just
any?
look at my
Do you have?
website?
Does it come up? No.
You're paid, bro.
Oh, nah,
bro,
Swiss
bro.
goes up to 3. He goes up to 3. You see.
I need to buy 2 and sew them together. You know.
Yes,
Yeah, bro. It's only 3X in the arms, bro.
No, I think at the moment we
kids,
do at the
kid
moment we do
sizes,
go up
kid
to 3.
sizes.
We do get 3. I think we've got
But-
like white and black and available in 5s and things like that. But yeah, I think that's cool. Something that's cool that you've brought up there. I'll definitely look into that and try and get that sorted out for when you order your hoodie next week.
Bro, if it's got the size, bro,
Oh,
it's got the size, you know.
Thank you in advance, Pekka, my man.
You started your Yesa business. Was it obviously because you wanted to get something going? And I seen a post on your Insta. How you promoted other people's gear. How was it like when you first got your your batch out and people started buying it? And was that the goal to kind of reach every part of the world, or?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think the way that I look at it is almost like how I did with my music. You know what I mean? I always like everything that I sort of try and put, my hands in or things like that. I always try and make it as big as possible, man. So I think that's always been my intention. I think if anything, like my biggest goal was to go to somewhere like Amsterdam or something, and we got some random guy out there just wearing my t-shirt. You know what I mean? Like that's definitely the end goal. Obviously it's gonna take a lot for me to get there, but I mean, yeah, bro, it's always like anything I do. It's always my intention is to try and go 100 men and try and make it as big as possible, bro.
Nice. Well, you definitely did it because I'm sure you can fit a 3XL.
As long as you guys all wear your t-shirts next week, then
Sounds good to me. Because when are you sending those tees to me?
I got a question for you. I've seen online lately you've been having your own little like video shows on certain songs, how you put them together and all that. Was that something you felt like you needed to explain, or is that just something that you've come up with just to keep things rolling and stuff still? Or
I think the biggest thing for me, like we're in a day and age where like social media is like almost like a TV thing, you know what I mean? So I was just like, instead of just like posting random selfies of myself, I wanted to try and put out quality in most of the things that I do. And like, I think I was sitting there one day and I sort of thought to myself, like, what would be something cool? Like everyone does the whole writing process thing and it all sounds the same, bro. You know what I mean? So like me, I just wanted to be able to tell stories that behind songs that people do know, but stories that they would have never guessed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, say for like She the One We Love, a lot of people don't know, but it was leaked out back in 2012, long before we released it in 2017. Slow Wine, I was actually supposed to be signed to another label, and that label told me that Slow Wine wasn't going to work. Like, these are stories that, people would have never known, and it's not until now that I actually have the platform that I'm actually able to share it. So I thought it would be something cool that I get to share with all, my fans and things like that. So, yeah, man, that's all it was, just something different for everyone, eh?
does it make you feel like you actually got something off your chest at the same time and clarified the air a little bit as well with a few of your stuff in the past?
Definitely. But it's also like things for me to be able to sort of crack up at, you know what I mean? It's like stories it's stories that I always told the boys, you know what I mean? And I think they're pretty funny and interesting stories. And then I just, I'm sure I would have told you before, So like, I think it's stories that I sort of hold close to me that I sort of want to share with everyone. I think it's definitely interesting stories, and it's cool to be able to sort of tell the world about these stories of how these songs actually like potentially could have never reached anywhere. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I do think I remember asking you for a clean copy of Shit On Me Love. And then he told me, oh, wait, me and Noise is redoing that one. We're going to deal with this. And then I watched the video and I was like, oh.
Yeah, man.
I still got that other edit too, so all good.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's got like 3 or 5 versions or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's a real weird world, man. Like one thing with that whole Shit On Me Love thing, like the way I saw it, like, you know, we could have the Pacific listening to it, but then until I release it on iTunes and things like that, no one will even know about it. You know what I mean? So it's real weird with how music works. Like you can release something on YouTube for years and then release it on iTunes and people think it's this brand new song, but it's been out for ages, man. You know what I mean? So
Nice, bro. And
what was the question that just popped up?
Oh no, so shout out to Kiligona. Yeah, wandered in here and appreciate the work. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks, chat. There's some more questions if y'all want to jump into it.
Let's go.
Have any of you guys ever experienced any mental health in regards to suicide thoughts? And if so, how have you guys overcome it? That's straight,
Shout out to
straight in
James.
there.
Shout out to James.
That's a straight shooter. No chaser.
Fuck around there.
There's no chaser on that one.
That's some heavy stuff, bro.
I haven't personally gone through that situation, but with the line of work I used to do, which is youth work, I've come across probably a handful that that try and take their life, all in the hands of youth, youth aid. But yeah, it's a different story when it comes to youth, because their background is so many papers you have to go through to understand the person. But we weren't qualified enough to deal with that situation. But that's my little take on it. You guys gone through any of these thoughts?
Well, I got arrested. So that's what ended my. It was, I wouldn't call it an attempt. It was more of a cry for help, really. So this is 5 years ago, and I fucking idiot. I won't get into it, but I'll tell you what I did. I did some stupid shit, man. I got my best. I laid out my best suit and tie. I polished up my shoes. I laid it all out on the ground, and I had some ropes hanging from the ceiling. It was a terrible thing to, and but I was 50-50, man. I was 50-50. I was like, come over and help me, or this might happen. So, and then the cops showed up, which I wasn't expecting. And then, they ended up taking me into holding, and then a couple of counsellors came over and just said, "Are you all right?" And it was so fast, bro. Even thinking about it now, I actually haven't thought about it for quite some time. But I just remember sitting in an interrogation room for a wee while, and then my sister-in-law had to come and pick me up. So how did I deal with it? I really don't know. It was probably just lucky that someone called the cops. One of my mates called the cops, and they come and got me. So if that helps the question at all, it was my brush with those kind of tendencies, but yeah, all good now. All good now. Yeah.
Shot, mate.
And of course, a little bit of counselling and stuff like that too. And like we said earlier, that's sometimes that stuff's free. It's on the house. You get 3 free sessions. It's 3 hours of someone just to talk to and stuff like that. So every little bit helps, And like I say, it was a fake attempt, really, but I certainly made it look.
It was still a cry for help, for sure.
Did
100%.
When you spoke, did you obviously spoke with psychologists or qualified people? Did they help in such a way that you went back and said, "Why the hell did I attempt it?" Or did they kind of dig deeper into why you done that? Or
Yeah, I felt really foolish afterwards. Like I was like it was a what the hell was I thinking moment, or what am I up to, bro? Got kids, like they use things they try to get you to just think of everything positive in your life, I guess. And if you were to remove yourself from certain situations, you wouldn't see your kids growing up, then you wouldn't see them being married, having grandchildren, things like that. Like it's anyone can get clapped at any moment, but if you have the will to live, then those are more positive, I guess, things to think about, especially if you're dealing with the black dog, as they call it. So and it certainly helped. It certainly helped, and then eventually your mates who were all like worried about you at the time, they all start to message you randomly, or call you up out of the blue. It's that follow-up support that really sort of like drives home how important you may be to everybody else, even if you don't think so. It's that's the most humbling bit of it is how many people actually care about you, even though you may not think that they do at any time. So, yeah.
Very nice, very nice.
Well,
shop, bro.
Yeah, just trying to look for something, mate. It's not for me.
Oh no!
That's dedication, bro. Did you lose the? Did you lose the charger?
So let the man's doing somersaults and backflips and everything.
Mute it, bro.
My wife's just whispering like on the side here, trying to ask for something. So I had to like look for it under the bed.
Man, big
burpees,
bro.
Oh, Swiss,
that bedroom talk.
Walter's a singer as well.
I rap.
He's a
Oh,
barbershop.
he's the one you guys were talking about that he was going to sing for us tonight.
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's him. He's in the show. He's gonna sign us out.
Boys. That's why he did us here tonight.
Collab, bro.
Oh, funny tigers.
Hurry up, Walter. We're waiting.
Hold on, I'm catching my breath.
Oh, shit.
I think going off like what Beko was saying about is it Beko Baka? Oh, Baka. Sorry,
How did I spell it? I can't even spell my own name. All good.
No, yeah, I can't. I think going off what he was saying it's like, I think it's definitely one of those things. Like when you get into that space, you actually don't even know like whether you're gonna fully go through with it or not. Like, you know what I mean? And they just come out of nowhere, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like some days you can wake up happy as, and then some days you just wake up like the scum of the earth, eh? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's actually like you know what I mean? So, and it's not a feeling that you can ever get used to, so you can train your mind to overcome it all the time. But I think it's what you do before it even gets there. You know what I mean? I think you've just got to try and like cut it off well before you even get to that stage. You know what I mean? I think once you start seeing that stage, it's already too late, man. Like, you know what I mean? You shouldn't even be at that stage, eh? So I think if you do even have those thoughts, you need to start reassessing your life and everything that you're doing. And not in a bad way reassessing it, but you really need to look at the things that sort of set you off to even start getting you, thinking that way, eh?
Yep, 100%.
It's good advice for someone who doesn't know what to do at that stage, eh? Or someone who's not aware that they've even hit that that level yet, eh? So
Yeah, definitely.
I think that especially for us guys, it's a little bit hard to even know where you are or where you're at, how bad it is, until it's almost too late. Almost too late. You know, like his situation's pretty good. He's come out. You know, he's had a wake up call and he's not even thinking about going back down that road. But did you have to get to that level to actually open your eyes and see it? Yeah. Yeah.
And for some,
These things are good because we're like talking about it out freely with no hold. You know, there's no holds barred. There's nothing. We can just say it as it is, how it is. But that's us.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, it's the other dudes who don't want to or are too cool to be like this. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, bro, exactly.
It'd be hard. It'd be hard. It's an easy trap to fall into, but it's probably it seems more hard to ask for help. The hardest thing is asking for help. It's just such a weird, such a rock and a hard place type thing to. And that'll never happen to me. And then you know, bam, out of nowhere, you're already there. So yeah.
Like I think another thing, like especially in society nowadays, like you know, like me and a lot of my friends are pretty open about these sort of things, and I think one of the biggest things too is like we have this whole concept of like people being kill buzzers. Like one thing that I would like to say about that, like if you're feeling shit, just live in it, bro. Like, do you know what I mean? You don't have to put on this mask that you're happy all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's one of the biggest things, and it just adds to that pressure. Eh? Like, you know what I mean? You're just bottling everything up. You know, we always talk about it. Like, you have this thing when you go to a party, you could have been having the worst day, and the boys expect you to be on. You know what I mean? Like, and some days you're just not on, but those little things all add up. Eh? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you go there, act all happy, and as soon as you leave, you're back in that mindset space again. And if anything, it's worse because it's just been shut up for a good 2 to 3 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, exactly, bro.
we got a question from the chat.
Go.
Sorry.
Read it out, Swanky.
Yo, what would be the best way to approach a loved one, a male who suffers from oppressed feelings and who will put others' expectations over their own?
Can someone tell me what oppressed feelings are?
I'm glad you said that.
The chat today, bro. The chat exposed.
Walter, this is your English. Walter, this is your
English. What are you on about?
Bro, what does it mean, bro?
Put me under pressure here, mate. Hold on, I'll just Google it, eh? No, I think that's a really good question, but I think the best way to approach it is just by simply asking the question, "Are you okay?" The person will probably get sick of it, sick of hearing "Are you okay?" all the time, but in reality, it's a way to get them to open up eventually, you know. But it's all in a matter of time when they're ready to come out and say what's happening in their life. I really think that was a good question, to be honest.
Just a regular chicken.
Yeah. Basically, that's
checking in.
Oppressed or not, but like I think that's where it all starts. It's just asking those simple questions. Are you okay? Because it'll take some time to actually to break a person down to finally open up and say whether they're okay or not. I think I went through a phase a month ago or so, and some of the boys even noticed I just wasn't feeling right. And I kind of held back. I kind of held back from telling them the truth on what was going on and whatnot. And I just came to a point where I was like, you know what, shit, I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say that I'm not okay. This is what's happening, and when I did reach out, like the reaction was quite positive from the mates, and their support was pretty cool. I didn't really expect to receive so much support from the boys and yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Bro,
Very nice.
Shout out to
honestly,
Walter, bro. Shut,
this
brother.
cup was getting pretty heavy, eh?
I thought you were going to
And,
end it there with a song, but never mind.
Nah, man.
No, I think well, just going off what Walter said. I think another way of doing that as well is to share your own experiences with someone.
Facts.
You might not know, but me and Swanky had this conversation, and it wasn't until I shared my own experience to Swanky, then he finally kind of opened up to me as well. So that's how I kind of worked around this. That worked for me, and it worked for Swanky, and we're just better off. We're better off for it. So I think that's another way of approaching it, because it still is a little bit of a hard thing to approach someone and just ask them straight up, because maybe they're not even ready to tell you, or they're not in that mind frame or mindset yet to reach out for help. But if you just share, they might share something and they might not say a name, but it could be them. They just want to know what you think or how you feel about it. So yeah, I think sharing
just sharing your story might just help someone else relate.
Yeah,
and help them get through what they're going through as well. Yeah, very nice, Goose. Very nice.
And also Walter, bro, like a shout out to you and Baker for sharing that on. We're not trying to exploit you and trying to dig in everybody's past and try to bring out content. But nah, man, thank you guys for opening
it's
up.
all about awareness.
And sharing it with us, which leads us. To... What's up, Baker?
No. Like that's exactly right, bro. Awareness, that's what we're here for. So, someone might see this and feel comfortable talking about something tomorrow. You never know, So, every little bit helps.
Very nice.
Straight up.
Because I have not given that freedom to anybody, that somebody can freak me, somebody can make me angry, somebody can make me happy, somebody can make me unhappy. These privileges I kept to myself. It's time you do that too. Because if somebody else can decide what can happen within you right now, isn't this the ultimate slavery? Huh? Isn't this? Someone else can decide what should happen within you. What happens around you, of course, so many people decide. What happens around us is not 100% ours, but what happens within me must be my making, isn't it?
What a message!
So this brings us to the kind of end into our show. But before we end it, usually we try and end up with an advice or just a quote or something you want to leave with someone that's tuned in on the live. So just share what you want or leave an advice with the boys on here. Swanky, you want?
What's up? Oh, dude. Anyone jump in?
Mine will always be the same, man. Every week we do this. Every Thursday, mine will always be the same. Mine will always be talk. Always talk. Open up. Just talk to your mates. Talk to somebody. The word itself is quite easy, but it's one of the hardest things for us to do. So yeah, for me, that'll always be my message every week. Just open up and talk to somebody if you need that. Not feeling right. You need that help, eh? That's my yeah. You're gonna hear from me every week. Talk.
Very nice. Oh, the mine will be checking in, Just do the regular check-ins on the boys. as we do this podcast every week. So it's just a regular check-in on the boys or family and friends overseas. Just a little message. Hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Just never know.
Nice.
I think mine would be just learn to live in your full self, man. You know what I mean? It's not about making everybody else happy. It's about making yourself happy first. You know what I mean? So I think you've just got to, 100%, man. Like there's going to be days where you think you're the most weirdest, awkwardest person, bro. And at the same time, that's just your mind playing on you and wanting you to like conform to society and things like that. So yeah, that's my advice, man. Just 100% yourself and just be you to the fullest. Not everyone's going to accept you, but you're going to find people who really do through that same process. You know what I mean? So that's my advice.
Hello. Or Tinsel.
So.
Come on, son.
What's up?
I can't really think of anything at the moment. I just hope, with the experience that I've had and I've shared, I hope that someone learned something from it. And if there's someone out there who I've touched, I hope that you find that someone that can help you break the cycle of being mute, and just being able to open up and let everyone hear your voice. So yeah, that's me.
Shuttles.
Very nice.
Baker, you got some inspirational quotes? I know you got many.
Up my sleeve. Oh, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity to be a part of this podcast that you have here. I think it's going to be an excellent tool moving forward, and certainly identify, it sort of contribute something. But I think if my sign off would be to don't think that that you asking for help is shamed. Don't feel shamed out about having to open up in front of your boys. It's you're not going to lose any mana or masculinity or anything like that. If anything, you'll probably gain a bit more. From showing that you are invulnerable, that you are vulnerable. Even if you are a real strong figure, or you know what I mean, the man of the house, so to speak. So don't think that it's shames. Don't shy away from opening up. I would say. So I'll leave you with it, Teza.
Shop boys.
Very nice.
Shop Baker. For me is I guess like Muffy was saying is. This platform is built for anyone and everyone. So, but because it says for the boys, doesn't matter. We can have, anyone else on, partner, friend, girlfriend. It's there to help everyone. So, although we try and target the boys, and because obviously this is why we built it, is our poly men or poly brothers out there are the kind of like worst known to not open up and hide. But I hope with this podcast that if it reaches one person and it helps that one person, hopefully that our job is done. But in saying that, it's okay not to be okay. Every day is not going to be a hype, so you just got to try and take the positives. One thing I try and do in the morning is to try and be positive when I wake up. That kind of sets the tone for the day. If you wake up, feeling down, try and look for the light, or look for something that's going to keep you going. Like I've got a couple of girls at home, and I think to myself, the positive part of my day will be coming back home to see them. So I go to work. Hopefully, you know, the day is good for me at work, and then I come back home and spend it with my 2 girls and my wife. So that's something small. Something small. But anyone else got anything to say before we do a little shout out and end our podcast? Appreciate you jumping on, Swiss brother. Thank you so much for tapping in with us, bro. We've honestly taken away a lot from this this podcast, and obviously with our podcast, bro, we're not professionals at all, but what we do offer is a shoulder or an ear for someone to tune in with us, and especially yourself, brother. You've shared you've shared your story, and I hope if you are free every Thursday night, or a Thursday night, tune in. I know you're a busy man, so we probably won't see you again.
No, I think if anything, man, thanks for having me on. I think what you guys are doing is really good for our men. I think if anything, I wouldn't have jumped on here if I didn't think that it was definitely something that was positive. If there's anything that I gotta say, man, is just keep pushing. Like keep doing it. If I am free any Thursday nights, man, I pop in, boys. To be honest with you, it would be cool if we could do this in person. That would be even better.
That's coming. Say less.
That's coming.
Say less.
And if anything, if you guys want to play some touch and get sidestep, bro, let me know.
Oh no.
Nah, but you know, if anything, man, like, you know, yeah, just keep it up, boys. I think this is an awesome thing, and anyone who's watching, man, like, it doesn't matter what you're going through, man. Like, there's always going to be a better day, you know, coming. So, you know, you just gotta hold it out and wait it out there a little bit longer, man. Don't let your mind kill you. Your mind can be your worst enemy at the best of times. So,
Straight
you know
up.
what I mean?
Straight up. Okay, so if you want to catch up with Swiss, he's got a show coming up. Is that correct?
Yeah, but Knees and Vibes. Oh yeah, we've got Christchurch Good Vibes actually. That's in November, but we've got Knees and Vibes in Auckland on October 24th. Which is so we're hoping it goes back down to level 1, so then everyone can come out. But yeah, we've got the likes of Tomorrow People, the ForTheBoys crew coming through. Nah, but yeah, like
play triangle.
you know, I mean, if anything, man, come out. You know what I mean? It's always a good night, and these are the sort of things that, you know, sort of help you loosen up a bit. So yeah, man. Shout out to everyone who's been supporting the music over the years too.
Yeah, bro.
Hard not to, bro.
All good.
Hard not to, bro.
All your all the viewers that we have pretty much all yours. So when you go next week, we're probably going to have 0. But no, we're not about that. We're not about viewers. We're not about no.
Never.
Actually, we are. No.
And saying that, shout out to whoever tapped into the show, to the chat.
Yeah, man.
YouTube.
Shout out
Appreciate
to Marty, Lawrence, Jess, Latanya, Lisi, Jess again, Jane. Yes, shout out to the chat for tuning in with us. And also shout out to Swiss and his clothing label, Yes Clothing Co. So if you want to tap in, jump on, what's the website, brother? Yes,
yesclothingco.com. So yeah, man, jump on, check it out. If you like something, grab it. You know, if not, thank you for even jumping on and having a look. So, yeah.
Thank you, Doko. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Doko. We're now on. We're now on.
Gotta go 4x, 4, 5x. Target demographic, bro. There's some big boys, bro. Big units, bro. You need to have those hoodies, bro. Big size.
No doubt.
Before we end, where's that song, bro? I'm waiting for you to bring that song.
Hey.
Who's got the get? Where's the get? Who's got the get?
Come on, bro. You know you weren't put on the spot.
Give us a G,
give us a G.
Right here, right now.
This is your shot.
No, you guys been.
This is
No,
your
you guys are
shot.
taking the way.
Boys, knees and vibes, come down and you get to see me sing there.
Shop Boys, we're now on Spotify, so check us out. We'll have this up.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. Oh. Were you warming up there?
No. I was just happy you finished your little line there.
Oh, you surely.
Anyway, boys, thanks. Stay online. To everyone that's tuned in, thank you for jumping in again. And yeah, we're now on Spotify, YouTube. And please, can you send us some what do you call that things on our website? Swanky?
Feel free to sign into our Patreon.
Patreon. I like that.
The link is in the bio. Let's go.
We're signing out, Shop Boys.
Yo, it doesn't send you to fans only.